I decided that I wanted to do like a new series kind of here on my channel where I pick a trope and recommend 5 books that I love from that trope or that have that trope in it. And the one I did before was Animal Companions. And today I wanted to do one that was actually pretty heavily requested through my community tab and through my Instagram stories, and that is Found Family. And y'all, Found Family is one of my absolute favorite tropes. I am a sucker. If you tell me there is found family in a book, I'm gonna be like, yes, give it to me now, I need it all. So I was really excited that everyone wanted to see the amazing found family books that I like, because I want more people to read these. Some of these are super, super popular, so I'm sure a lot of you have read them already, but I still want to talk about them because I love them. And maybe if you pick them up because of me and you love them, then that makes me happy. Alright, so the first found family book that I want to talk about that is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This book is so good, y'all. I loved it. This was actually our first book that we read for the Shelf Space Book Club back in, I believe, June. And I fell in love with this story. The group of guys that make up Saga are a found family. They are this awesome family of old men who love each other like brothers, but have been away from each other for such an extended period of time. But when they come back together, it's like they never left. And that is something that I love so, so much. Like, they have their differences. They don't always get along. They disagree. But in the end, they would kill for each other. They love each other. They're going to do what they have to do to protect each other. The main plot of this book is they are this old band. And in this world, bands are mercenaries and they go out and like kill monsters and they go on tour. So it's kind of a play on like the classic rock bands of like the 70s. So I love that. Like off the bat, I'm a big classic rock fan, so that made me fall in love. And then the one guy's daughter is in trouble. So he basically is getting the band back together so that they can go save his daughter. And not everyone's fully on board at first, but it makes for some good times. Some really cool, like, found family aspects in this book, and I just loved it. I have the second book, Bloody Rose. I haven't read it yet, but I'm very, very excited to get to that one too. So this is a fantastic book if you like found family and classic rock. The next found family book that I want to recommend is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. The found family kind of comes into play in the latter half of this book, but when it does, it is so good. There is just this ragtag group of people who come together and you don't really know how they fit together, how their personalities work together. Like, it's very strange, but it is so well done. I mean, some of my favorite parts of this book are the characters and the fact that, like I said, like with the other book, they don't always get along. They definitely don't all see eye to eye. They definitely fight and argue amongst themselves, but they care about each other. They actually care about each other and they would die for each other. So I don't know how much more I can talk about The Poppy War. I have a full review for it that I will link for you guys, but I don't want to just keep going on and on and on about this book because I can. And it is one of my absolute favorite books and one that I will not ever stop recommending to y'all because it is just fantastic. The next book that has an amazing found family is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. And in this book, cities have a soul. Cities are born. And in this particular book, the newest city to be born is New York City. Well, something goes wrong with his birth And that leads to his soul basically being split into different avatars of himself, which end up being all the boroughs of New York. And these boroughs have to come together to find the main avatar and protect him and kind of figure out what is going on, what this like mysterious villain is that's trying to keep the city from being born. Like, no one really knows what's going on, but all of these boroughs just, they come together and they end up being this like ragtag found family group. And I absolutely love it. The characters are what made this book for me. I absolutely love the diversity of the characters, how just different each and every one of them are. Like, we have a mother, we have older characters, like it's just fantastic. So if you haven't read this, definitely pick it up, especially if you know you like N.K. Jemison's writing style, because I know some people that I read this with didn't vibe with it, but they also didn't like other Jemison books, whereas I love all Jemison books that I've read. So take that as you will, but definitely pick up The City We Became. The next one is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is the first book in the Villains duology right now. I believe there's going to be a third book, which that makes my little heart happy. This book is about Victor and Eli, and they are two college students, and they end up trying to figure out how to make EOs, which are like extraordinaries, which are like people who have died and come back, who have near-death experiences, and they come back with powers. And this book is so well done. It jumps around timeline-wise. Like, we're starting at like one timeline, and then the next chapter is 10 years before, and then the next chapter is 2 weeks ago, and then the next chapter is from a different person's perspective from 10 years ago. And it kind of jumps around, but I actually really liked that, like piecing it all together. And in this book, Victor finds himself a found family with two different characters that I absolutely love. And it's kind of funny because Victor is like a very anti-hero. He is not good, he is not bad, he kind of like leans towards villain, but is he really? And he has this like found family group basically, and as evil as he is, or as villainous as he still wants to protect these two people who become more than just friends to him. They become very special to him, and he actually really, really cares about them in his own way. And that was something that I super enjoyed about this book, and the sequel as well, which I know is unpopular, but I liked the sequel. So there's that. And finally, the last found family book is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. The found family trope runs hard through this book, through this one, through the second book, through the third book. Like, it's a big theme. It starts out with Vin, who is this like orphan living on the streets, just trying to survive, and she ends up being kind of taken in by Kelsier, who is a Mistborn, so he can manipulate metals, and he can manipulate all the metals, and he adjusts them, and that gives him magic powers. Come to find out, she is as well, and he kind of brings her in on this plot to overthrow the Lord Ruler. And it's like this big heist story, and there's this like ragtag group of magical individuals. Some are, I think only 2 of them are Mistborns, and then we have a bunch of what they call Mistings, which are people that can use like one of the elements and ingest it, and it's so good. And then the twists and turns in this book, like everything about this book is fantastic. And if y'all have been watching me for any amount of time, you know I love Brando Sando. I love the Mistborn series. This is the series that got me back into reading after a very, very, very long reading slump. So if you want to pick up an amazing adult fantasy series with found family and just everything you need, then pick up Mistborn. So these are my 5 found family books that I think that you need to read. Let me know what you think of this list, if you've read any of these, if you love them, if you're excited to read any of these, and let me know your found family recommendations down below, because I would love to check them out as well. Alright, well, my name is Jessie. Thank you for hanging out with me. I make bookish videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I will see you next time. Bye!